You just reached MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. Your patience is appreciated. Our representatives are working hard to bring you the latest news from the hottest crews on the NASCAR circuit. Thank you for holding. You are now being connected to your hosts, Sammi Jo Francis and Rocko Williams.
We are currently looking for a new receptionist.
Yes.
If you know anybody. Welcome to another edition of MRN Crew Call.
Such a hater.
Presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. And we have a new sponsor, but I'm going to keep that a surprise until a little bit later.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a surprise if you blatantly point it out.
I'm just letting you know.
All right. It is on our table, though, next to our little Hercules man. Anyways, so, Rocco.
Yes.
It's a big weekend for you. It's Father's Day weekend.
Yes, it was, Sammy.
But before that,
who's this guy sitting next to me, though?
this is Johnny Roberts,
Hey.
the rear tire changer for Hendrick, number 24. And how was your Father's Day?
It was good. I had to work. Had to go to
I had to work.
Yeah, I had to go to Iowa.
Does it really work? Oh, we really work.
It's really work when you come off a vacation and you have to jump on a plane and go out there. But it was fun. The race didn't go so well. We hit the wall, I think, at lap 40. I was working on the car the rest of the day.
This is at Iowa.
This is at Iowa.
This is at
with
Iowa
the one
Speedway.
car. Elliott Sadler.
Elliott Sadler in the one car.
Yep.
Yikes! That doesn't sound like the greatest.
It was a long day.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah. Well, what about you, Rocco?
I was in Iowa, too.
Was yours a long day?
It was a long day. It was eventful. It was fun. Truck racing in Iowa was always cool. It was standalone race. Xfinity cars were there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, had a lot of fun there. And slaw cam was in effect as well.
And the magic of TV is going to show us your long day.
The slaw cam POV style coming at you. Slaw cam.
Let's check it out from Rocco's point of view. What happened on Father's Day weekend?
It was on.
We're headed out to Iowa Saturday, the day before Father's Day. It's going to be a good race. No Cup guys going to be there. Xfinity guys, they're not there. It's all about the trucks this weekend in Iowa. That's where we're going. Here's some cookies. And I'm going to get some Cheetos. Oh, yeah. A herd of cattle. That's better. Herd of cattle. Move. Iowa Speedway. I am so excited about doing the race. Feeling 98%. Feeling 98%. Less than 30 minutes before race time. I had to take this time to designate a huge, a monumental moment in Slaw career.
Monumental.
It's a monumental moment. I'm sitting in the car with the great, the one and only Brian Eastland.
What's up, guys?
Joe Gibbs Racing.
I was good as a boss.
Going well. How many shows have you watched? It takes one. Might need some of your expert engineering. Check out that one. The third place finish by the 51 truck here at Iowa. It was close. Came down to the end, green flag run. We got our chairs in here or no?
Chairs in here, so you were tired. You needed to sit down after that. So third place finish is pretty good.
No, it was good. Harrison Burton was driving. They call it Harry Burton. Call him Harry Burton. He did a remarkable job. That's his best finish he's had in the 51 truck. And it was an eventful day. What resonates with me is that he led 40 laps at the beginning of the race. At the end of the stage, the crew chief instructs him to coast, save some fuel, turn your engine off. And as he does that, he does not refire. He comes back on the radio and says he has a throttle issue. And he comes down pit road while pit road is closed, and midway, right before he gets to his box, he figures it out, the throttle unsticks or it begins working again.
So when that happens, can they drive straight through?
Well, no, we stopped and we put up the hood to check, but we did leave before he got lapped. So that saved us. We had to start at tail end for pitting early, but at the same time, crew chief did a great job of making sure we left before they cross start finish so we could get out, not lose a lap. And what ended up happening, he didn't reset the ECU. When you shut the car off, you have to floor it, reset the ECU. Rookie mistake, as he said, But I really liked how his father came onto the radio, or Burton at the time, came onto the radio and said, hey, look, it's early in the race. We have a fast truck.
We can recover.
He qualified on the pole.
Yeah.
Main calm. We're going to drive through the field. And he did. You know, he was, I think, within 30 laps, he drove back up to 6th place.
Wow.
And like I say, it was an exciting race. We ended up finishing 3rd, but all in all, it was a good race.
So his dad is his crew chief?
No, his dad was there with his mother.
Oh, just
crew
to
chief
say,
is
like,
Mike Hillman
keep
Jr.,
your calm.
but he was there, sat in the stands
Yeah.
during the race, but had radio access.
Yeah.
But he did.
That's awesome,
chime
especially
in.
for Father's Day weekend.
Yeah,
just
it was.
Like,
he was there. He was
cool
watching. It
Yeah.
was exciting.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know how that is on pit road when you get those early mistakes. You'd rather have those happen early as opposed to late, right, Johnny?
Yeah, that's how Sunday, when it happened early and it's just all day you're fixing the car and you're bringing it back in and then you go out there and nothing's right because you hit the wall so hard. So
I feel like this is a sore subject, so we're going to just nip it right to that for you.
You can feel his excitement when we start talking about it.
Especially when it's Father's Day.
But we do have a lot of exciting stuff coming up, so stick around. We've got background on Johnny, and you get to figure out what our new sponsor is. We'll be back with more MRN Crew Call right after this.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-242-1706, 800-242-1706.
Join MRN as we travel through the life of NASCAR's most popular driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes back to the Daytona International Speedway, leading the pack.
I won races that I never thought I'd win.
From growing up under the Earnhardt name to super speedway wins to Whiskey River, we dive into everything Dale Jr.
He's Rain Man for NASCAR history.
You know, we weren't the typical family that got to sit down to dinner together.
Tune in to Junior's Journey, available on iTunes for download only on the Motor Racing Network.
Thank you for joining MRN Crew Call. If you know your party's extension, please send it along. I haven't been to a good one in years. Now, here's Sammi Jo and Rocko.
Welcome back to MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. I'm Sammi Jo Francis.
I'm Rocko Williams.
And Johnny Roberts is in the house. Ooh, ooh. All right, now to get some background, because as our viewers now know, I try not to do any research because I like people to get to know you with me. So, how long have you been in the sport?
I got into the sport end of 2010.
Okay.
There was a tryout they had of the Pit Crew Combine at Hendrick, and my cousin worked there at the time, and it was pretty much basically an open tryout. And
what'd your cousin do?
He, before racing, he was in the NFL, and then he went from the NFL to jacking, I think a backup for the 5, right?
Aaron Walker, right?
Aaron Walker. He was the backup for the 5, and he told me to come try out. At the time, I had just got laid off from my welding job in construction in Florida, so I figured I'd give it a shot.
And you were a stellar football player as well.
No, I was a surfer. I grew up. Not much height or size for football, but yeah, I did some other sports. So.
Well, how did you guys end up meeting? Because I know everybody knows everybody on pit road, but there's a lot of people.
Well, I was at Hendrick Motorsports prior to him getting there, and and every year Hendrick does a good job of bringing in recruits, having these tryouts available to see the next replacement, as we like to call it. But Johnny showed a lot of promise right off the jump. You would think he was a stick and baller at the time, but what made him unique was the fact that he was a water sports guy, into the surfing and the X Games. He reminded me a lot of our another friend of ours who pits cars, and Chad Averett, and he's a surfer. They always tried to get me out there in that lake, but I can do it.
Is that technically surfing, or is it wakeboarding?
Well, this is behind Chad's boat. It's it's surfing behind a boat. It's similar.
What's the best you can do?
Where's the string, though?
Yes.
Where's the string?
That would be wakeboarding if you had a string.
Yeah.
That's why it's surfing.
You start off with
no
the
string.
rope, but yeah.
Oh, so you think you're nice with it?
Or rope, string.
Chad's taught me a lot, and he's fortunate enough, he's got a boat so that we can go out on a lot, and kind of brings me back home a little bit.
Chad is one of our former guests who we talked to, and also has the board shop, I believe.
I wish I could do that. Yes, he has a board shop.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, it looks like you're pretty... Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Florida, Titusville, Florida,
okay.
Which is about 30
that
minutes
explains it.
east of Orlando.
Okay.
About 20 minutes from where the shuttle shuttle goes up at NASA. Yeah. I'm about 20 minutes from there, and that's where the beach that we use growing up. So
that's got to be kind of cool, being close to the NASA.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, I guess as a young kid, I didn't really understand it, like going outside during school and seeing the shuttle go up and stuff. Yeah. But now, you know, that I'm older, I'm like, and the shuttle doesn't go up anymore. I really wish that would get going again. So
yeah. Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah. But well, and like you said, Johnny, so you got this opportunity at Hendrick Motorsports, and you did really well. What was your initial experience once you got there? You begin to try out, you begin to compete. Did you see that this was something that you could do long term as a career, or?
So when I first got here, I felt like I was behind everyone because they were all coming straight out of college, their sports.
Yep.
Athletically, I feel like I could keep up with them, but not when it comes to like lifting weights or like anything, you know, that I could like keep up with that way. Well, then I just
because that had never been your MO.
I mean, I played sports in high school, but not with these guys the way they work out regiments and
like
stuff.
These jacked guys.
Yeah, these jacked guys, and like looking at Dion when I'm coming in, and at the time I was like 140.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, I was like 140, and I don't know. I just had to. I was almost like the underdog in a way.
And mind you, Sammy, he's downplaying a little bit, but he was very undersized. But what made him so special is the fact that he is now starting on one of the premier cars at Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah.
Only with the 24.
Yeah.
With William Byron, and outworked a lot of guys who had the muscle, who had that, you know, visual, physical athleticism. You know, if you would eyeball test, if you looked at Johnny, you looked at some of his competition, you'd be like, no way. You know, no way this kid. But the fact of the matter, once he finished gelling his hair in the locker room and finally came out, you know, he actually
you
was
talk
ready
a lot
to,
of junk for somebody who takes a lot of pride in their looks.
He was ready to ball.
Yeah, it was really hard it took a lot of dedication, I think, and that's kind of another thing is like I knew that I was behind the 8 ball and with a lot of what they had going on, obviously, like looks and stuff. So I would go home and a couple of friends.
We're talking about physical looks.
I know, right?
In the athleticism, not looks.
Right.
Yeah. So I got a practice rim, and I took it home, and I would just. That was like one of my driven things that I'm going to beat these guys. You know, these guys that are bigger than me.
And what year was this?
This was 2011.
Okay.
Was my first like solid year pitting a car. I made it down to Daytona, and we were supposed to only do an Xfinity race at the time. And there was a cup front. At the time, I was a front changer, and there was a cup position that opened up that a guy had got hurt or something.
For Hendrick?
No, it was for the 32 car at the time.
Okay.
Anyways, I did that for about 6 months, and then I got moved up to the 5 backup as a backup, and then 2012.
So what happens as a backup? Do you train the same, and then you're just on standby, or do you travel with the team?
Yeah, so then we travel with the team all the time. But we would just stand behind the wall and just be ready at any time, like anyone if anyone goes down. Now it's a little different, but that's how it went then.
Right.
And then 2012 came. I was still a backup for the beginning of the year, and a guy was there, and he went down, got hurt or something, and I got put in to do the front.
Really, we're going to research this, and we're going to find out that you've offed several people
No.
to move up. He's like, I don't know. They just kept disappearing.
Yeah, a lot of fortunate things happened for me.
You did.
Yeah.
And mind you, it takes about 3 years for a tire changer to really develop to the point where they're ready to do cup cars. You got kind of fast-tracked, being that you were thrown into the fire but adapted very well. But then what makes the story unique, when I met you at the time, I really didn't know you personally, but it seemed like you kind of disappeared. You fell off the map a little bit. You know, the word was you went back home.
Yeah. Well,
and I was like, why would a guy go back home? He just got the starting job on the 5 car at the time of Casey Kane driving, and then he just disappears. I was like, who does that? You know, with all that hard work, and I was just befuddled. I didn't understand what was going on. So,
well, 2012 I finished out the season. I started out 2013, and about Charlotte, the 600, I got a call that my dad was in the hospital, and they didn't know what was going on.
Back in Florida.
Back in Florida. So I was like, obviously keep me in touch. So I was about to go, it was a Thursday before the race, and they called me and said, hey, it's pretty serious. You need to get home and see your dad. And they found out that he had cancer. So I went home for the Charlotte race. I think 2 more races I stayed home in Florida being with him, because at the time, you know, when you first found out you have cancer, you don't really know like the schedule that you, what is the outcome. So I come back to racing after like 2-3 weeks when they found him, like they were gonna get him on chemo, get him on stuff, and there was like they
have a plan.
Mm-hmm. So during that time, I was just, while I was back in racing, they had kept me as a backup again, just to make sure that mentally, I guess I was okay.
Yeah.
At the time, also,
I'm going to ask for this video because while you're talking about your dad, our viewers can see him because I believe we have a collage of your photos with him, but please continue. All right, so he's on the plan. If we can show the video.
Yes.
There we go. Aww.
That's my little boy, too. So, yeah, he was on a fast track of getting chemo and doing stuff, and so I had been talking to him about how this was going to go and, if he needed me down there and stuff like that. Well, they put me back on the car, and it was his first day in chemo treatment when he was in his first room. They put me back on the car. It was Pocono in 2013, and it was a Casey Kane, and we went out there and we won that race. Obviously,
I got goosebumps.
Everyone knows that, like, we don't have too much to do with winning. It's a team sport, but as long as we do our jobs, Casey takes care of the rest. But that was on TV.
Be strong,
and
Pops.
We were FaceTiming in victory lane. That was like a really cool moment. But
was that the Brickyard win?
No, that was Pocono. That was when we beat Young.
Oh, that's right.
We beat the 24 around
I love
last
that.
lap. So that was pretty cool. That day was.
Did he see that?
He's seen that, and my mom actually has a picture, or I think she was FaceTiming him whenever he was watching it, and like they played that and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
That's really special.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, I just made the decision that I need to go home and be with my parents and family while that was going on.
So let me get this straight. You had a win, and you're like,
I gotta go.
Bye.
Yeah, I
That's
think
a good note to go out on.
Yeah. I think mentally I'd already made a decision by then that I need to go home and be with them and family first.
Mm-hmm.
So I went home and I was supportive to him, and then
I'm sure the team that you were with was completely supportive of that.
Yes.
And when we heard this story, when we found out all that was going on, it was a motivating factor for us as well, that you really began to like Johnny a little bit more, being that he did put family first, and you tried to put yourself in your shoes as well. My father had cancer as well and had dealt with the same thing, so I could kind of relate to the feelings that you had in that regard. And I can't imagine that being an easy decision. At the same time, it probably is because, hey, this is my dad.
Yeah, but I think I see what you're saying, because it's an easy decision to say on paper, hey, family first. Always, right? But to go, hey, I started in this career.
I got this career.
I'm doing really well. I fast-tracked it, but I got to go.
Like Dion said, had a scratch and claw to get to the top, and then when I got to the top, it was kind of like I needed to go home. But at the end of the day, that was the right decision. I'm glad that I did it. So
yeah.
But
how long were you home?
I was home for a year, actually. A perfect
Okay.
year. I left Atlanta at the time. Atlanta was in a different part of the schedule. I left in Atlanta, and I came back in 2014.
Okay.
Whenever my dad was a little better, I had talked to him, and at the time I met my wife, and we were just both planning on coming up here and try to start it again. And luckily, Hendrick was taking me back. And
so were you training in that year? I mean, were you keeping in that peak position?
I mean, I
came back
or were you eating Cheetos on the
did,
couch?
yeah. I surfed a lot.
But
I worked, my first, it was actually kind of bad because my first 3 months that I was home, I had to get a job, obviously, in Florida.
Right.
And I had worked 3 months straight, 12 hours a day. So, I mean, when I first went home, it was almost like I didn't get to spend a lot of time with them because I had to find a job, obviously, to support myself.
Right.
But, working in that job was definitely no working out, definitely no running around. I mean.
What were you doing? Can I ask what you were doing?
Welded at a power plant.
So you went back to what you were doing before?
Yes, ma'am. So
he just mammed me, y'all.
Sorry.
which is why he's so important to crash repair as well. He's a welder.
I didn't even think about that.
He can fix those cars. You don't get subbed out too often.
So this past weekend, were you like, I got this, guys. Bring out the welder.
Yeah.
They wrecked early. I'm pretty sure when you're in that situation, you're upset because you want to compete at a high level. Not to mention, I think Sattler had top 10s in every race starting out, and it was these past 2 weeks alone, he's finished like outside the top 20. So 2 bad weeks in a row, and then, you kind of check out mentally, but it's a bit aggravating to wreck out so early, I would imagine.
Yes, out there in Junior Motorsports is a really good team to work for.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of when I say the word ridge?
I don't know. Rocky Ridge?
What about you?
A ridge of chocolate pudding.
I don't even know what that means. But the Ridge that I'm referencing is actually the opposite of a mountain like bulky. It is our brand new sponsor, and it is the Ridge wallet. So instead of having something clunky and huge and yet have to pull out of your pocket, this one is really, really minimal. Front pocket wallet designed to let you ditch your bulky traditional wallet. And the Ridge wallet is slim, RFID blocking, so perfect if you're traveling, and lifetime guaranteed. It's the last wallet you'll ever buy. It comes in so many different forms: titanium, carbon fiber, aluminum. We're not doing all of these different difficult words, but a ton of different styles and colors. And you can get 10% off today with free shipping worldwide by going to ridgewallet.com. That's ridgewallet.com and use the promo code RACING. Ditch your bulky wallet today and get the Ridge at ridgewallet.com. We'll be back with more MRN Crew Call right after this.
Grunt style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
You're smart, got your own trucking business, making it happen. What if I told you there was a place online where you could connect with other smart owner-operators just like you? It's an online community called Team Run Smart, where people share advice on truck maintenance, fuel savings, healthy habits on the road, and so much more, all to make your business more profitable. And it's all free. Visit teamrunsmart.com today to check it out. You'll be glad you did. teamrunsmart.com, brought to you by Freightliner Trucks.
Don't miss the biggest party of the summer. Get tickets to the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Overton's 400 race and see for yourself. Witness speed unlike anything you've ever seen. Party with people from all over and listen to Randy Houser live in concert, all in one weekend. June 28th through July 1st. Experience the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Overton's 400 race in person. Get your tickets at ChicagolandSpeedway.com now.
This is MRN Crew Call. For English, press 1. Hello, we're chuffed to the pieces you've dropped by, love. We have more bits and bobs in stores we chin wag with this lass and laddie. Here's Sammi Jo Rocko.
I think I like her better Australian. Welcome back to MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. I like what?
I just like her nice.
Oh, yeah, me too.
She's a little mean to me.
Yeah, she is. I'm Sammi Jo Francis. That's Rocko Williams. And, of course, joined by Johnny Roberts, the rear tire changer for the number 24 Hendrick car.
Baller.
Shot
the best to ever do it. The best out right now.
Don't watch any other episode, because then you'll hear him say to everybody that everybody's the best to ever do it. But I didn't really get the conclusion of your dad. So is your dad okay?
Yeah, my dad's fine.
That's great.
He still does chemo once a month, but he's on a nice track that he can get going and
I love that.
Live life.
Okay. That's why I was like sitting there. I'm like, well, we didn't really find out what happened.
Yeah.
So when you came back, what was the process of getting back into it? Did you just call them and say, hey, I'm back?
Well, my coach had always called and checked up on my dad and me. And
your coach is?
Chris Berkey.
Chris Berkey.
He would always call me. I mean, I have to give credit to the man. It was once a week he was calling me to see how my dad was doing and trying to come back. And I had told him, I don't know how countless amount of times I was not going to come back. But,
and he kept calling.
And he kept calling and kept
Good
calling.
For him.
And he always wanted to check in. So I really do appreciate that. But then when I got back, we got everything worked out. I got back and leaned on people like this, people that I trusted, how to get back in the swing of things. And
toned up, got rid of that Cheeto dad bod.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a little tubby, but he could still fit, but he was still wearing 4T, 5T taller, He wasn't in the double X's yet, so he wasn't that bad,
Right.
You remember when I come back from the breaks. That's
Marco was looking like a linebacker.
I was about 280 after each break, so.
Yikes. Well, I am super glad to hear that your dad is okay.
That.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But let's fast forward to now.
Yes.
Because now you're with the number 24 team.
William Byron.
Yes.
Young boy.
And you've got, tell me your routine, your weekly routine. Because you live in Charlotte?
I live in Huntersville.
Okay.
Yep. So as far as practice-wise and stuff, We work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We go in at 7:30, and we're usually done by 12:30, 1 o'clock. We
no 7:30 for this one.
We practice at 7:30, and then that's for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, watch film and stuff, and then we go and work out after that, and then our day's pretty much over as far as work goes, unless we have anything race prep wise. But
how do you? You have had some serious preparation dealing with humidity and heat because you grew up in Florida.
I love it. I love the heat.
But there's got to be. How do you? I don't know. How do you prepare for that during the race? Because it's a different type of heat on pit road in a fire suit.
It is.
Yeah, I think just hydration. Start it early in the week, Monday, Tuesday. Keep hydrating. You can't.
How much water do you drink a day?
I'd say at least 3 or 4 bottles a day.
Okay.
So just like a minimum.
We have a video too of actually Hendrick Motorsports in their heat training facility. I mean, heat training program.
How often do you do this?
Heat training once a week.
Oh, you do the heat training once a week?
Yep, on Wednesdays.
Oh, wow.
And the guy, you might recognize the guy who's commentating, but I want to hear a little bit about him as well.
Okay.
But I believe he's off of the 9 car.
Okay, so this is the heat training that you do weekly.
Every week.
This is this past week or something?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Okay.
Starting in the summer months, we do what we call heat training. So what we'll do is we'll come in, usually stretch or foam roll, kind of get loosened up. Then we'll jog out to the field. We got a bunch of different stations set up, 20 plus stations, just to kind of get us used to getting our heart rate up, especially in the summer months when it's hot. Obviously, when you're sitting in through a 3-4 hour race in your fire suit, you're just losing a lot of body fluid, you're sweating a lot. So hydrating at the racetrack is really important. What this really helps us with is being able to perform in the heat and do our physical tasks in the heat. So our stations are about 20 seconds long. Pit stop hopefully is less than 20 seconds. So we're trying to do those short little intervals to kind of simulate the pit stop aspect of it. At the end of it, we do what we call a team competition. It gives us an opportunity to come out, compete against the other teams on campus. It gives us another opportunity here to be able to compete against each other and have a little fun while we're doing it.
All right, I have to ask you because you said someone cheated.
So that ball throw, they were all huddled around. It's if you hit the ball, it was like a little team thing after, to basically you're against you're against the other teams with it. But you're supposed to throw the ball at the trash can, and if you get one in, it's 2 points. If you hit it, it's 1. Well, they all teamed up and like cheated. Yeah,
that's smart,
cheated.
It
is.
Is it?
That's a part of it.
You gotta find the gray area.
You find the gray area and you push
racing.
it. Yeah, that's how we do in racing.
Apparently. Well, it looked just like a football field, like a football OTAs mini camp, which is going on right now. So I can only imagine, how early are you getting out there to do that heat training? Because it gets hot.
Well, before he answers that, there's multiple teams at Hendrick Motorsports.
Right.
So you want to be the one to get out there early.
Yeah.
Because they stagger.
Like, we'll go first.
They stagger the times. And the earlier you go, it's not as hot.
Yeah.
So if you're that team going at noon and 1 o'clock, you're burning up. So,
Yikes.
And I want to keep in mind, there's nothing that can prepare you for the heat that you're going to experience at a Sonoma, at a Indy, at Iowa this past weekend. You're in a fire suit as well. I mean, the heat training is a good thought process of training in the heat and actually getting you acclimated to that. But when you put that fire suit on, it's a whole different game. It's sauced up. I mean, I'm talking about jalapeno sauce at the racetrack. I mean, you're sauced up in that suit, and it's a different type of heat.
Okay, so because this is where my brain goes, if you're drinking a lot of water and you're in a fire suit, how often are you going to the bathroom?
You just pee on yourself.
No, you don't.
Drivers do.
I don't trust him. Don't you listen to Rocko out there.
Well,
so how often are you able to run to the bathroom? Or is that
honestly
why there's tons of porta potties on pit road? If you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about.
That too, but I think when you're sweating so much, you
sweat it out.
You're sweating it out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't really have to use the bathroom. Your body's using every bit of it.
So on your first race back, after coming back from being off for a year, did you sweat out all of the weight that you had gained?
I like to say so, but no,
okay.
It was Homestead, but no, I didn't get to sweat out that much, I don't think.
What is your favorite track?
Probably Daytona, just because one, it's a home track.
Yeah.
I really like that. I'd like to win something at Daytona once.
What are you looking forward to as it relates to Sonoma? Is it still the same positives and negatives about Sonoma. I mean,
Wait, I don't know the positives.
Well, one of the
negatives.
things I looked forward to Sonoma, there wasn't a lot of pit stops, and especially after a break. For some reason, you just wanted to ease your way back into it. And, Sonoma can become a fuel mileage race where you're doing maybe 2 to 3 pit stops if your car is set up right.
Right.
So, I mean, that was one of the things I kind of looked forward to, and it was pretty cool seeing them go down turn 11 or turn 12 or whatever that was. But I don't know. What are some of the things that you notice that you look forward to in Sonoma?
I like Sonoma Racetrack. I mean, I think the whole area is very beautiful. I think going out to California, the nice weather. Usually,
you're doing something with the guys in California, right?
Yeah, I got the whole team and a couple of guys from the 9 car that we're all going to take them out surfing.
Wait,
to Ocean Beach.
Do they already surf, or are you? Is this an experiment?
This is going to be an experience.
Is it after the race?
Yeah, it's going to be before the race on Saturday. We fly out a day early. So, yeah, we're going to do that.
I don't know if that's a great idea.
I think it should be fine. We got I've already called some surf shops. So.
Or if you could just eliminate the competition, maybe that's what it is. I'm on to you.
I'll leave Gateway early from the racetrack where I'm gonna be at, and I'll go surfing and video so we can show.
Yeah, because we definitely need that.
I'm gonna bring
GoPro.
I'm gonna bring the GoPro. I'm definitely bring the GoPro. It's gonna be an experience. I think for a couple of our guys that
you give me the
It's not an easy thing. I've tried to surf several times.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
But notice the common theme here. I'm asking him about Sonoma at the racetrack, and all he's talking about is extracurricular activities in California, which is the mindset almost of everybody from the top to bottom.
Of when every surfer?
No, of every crew member, every exec. When they go out to Sonoma, they really look forward to that race. You'll have wives and girlfriends never want to go to the racetrack at you, but all of a sudden they have Sonoma circled on their hey, I want to go there with the wine valleys and the vineyards, and it's just an awesome place to be in. Not to say guys are less focused for the race, but it is an exciting race, a fun race, and
it's different.
It's one of the perks of being an elite pit crew member. You get to experience that, and
I like some things to be different all the time. Road courses are fun to throw in there. That's why I like super speedways every now and then. I think it's fun just to have different racetracks that you go to. Different racing.
It's kind of like coming off the bye week in football, since that's what I like to compare everything to. Is that more difficult? I mean, you obviously worked last week. But for other teams?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I go without 2 days without, changing tires, and I think that when I get to the track before I hit a lug nut, I'm like, do I know how to still do this? Just because we do it so much, so when you take a whole week off, what do you do? I guess you just knock a little rust off, and you're good to go.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll be cheering for you at Sonoma.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And especially if you bring us GoPro video of other people failing on the surfboard.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Who do you think will be bad? I think they'll be all right. They'll be all right.
Yeah. I want to see Landon and Eric.
Can you take
Landon
and Eric are both
Can
going to be
you
put
take Rocko surfing and get video of that?
I can surf. What are you talking about? I'm the best.
Yeah,
the best to ever do it.
We'll get on that.
Yeah, totally.
Slow that board out.
We'll need video of that. But MRN has coverage of this weekend at the Eaton 200 presented by CK Power. Rocko will be there.
Yes, I will.
So no coverage for Sonoma, but we do have coverage starting back up next week of that. So join us for next week's MRN Crew Call. Thanks for coming in, Johnny. You've been awesome.
Thank you.